Hello and welcome, it's Pete here again, back with some old friends, some old favourites. You really can't get enough of these. They are Tim Holtz's A5 embossing folders. We've got Brickwork, which I know the internet is awash with examples of how to get the best out of these. It's incredible. It's taken on a life of its own. We've got Numbered, which is one of my own personal favourites. And of course, this classic Cobblestone. You've seen these designs before, but never in this format. So let's take a look at them. So before we get started, I just want to talk about best practice. I know I do this a lot, but we do forget sometimes. I forget myself. So I'm using plain cardstock, right? And I've applied just some. I use my my Spritz. Actually, it's my spray vaporizer distress, no less. And I've made sure that the card is damp on both sides. There is a reason for that, and the reason is that it allows these fibers to stretch. And I'm working with Brickwork here. You can see there's a lot of depth, a lot of detail in this folder. So you really do need those fibers to stretch. I'm using my Tim Holtz Sizzix switch machine, and I'm going to place, notice how I put this at an angle as well. It makes it much easier for the feed. Not so much with the electronic machines because they have incredibly powerful motors, but when you're using a manual, if you can offset it like that, it makes the feed much easier. So I'm going to switch the machine on and just let the switch do its thing. Now I'm just going to send this through once. Sometimes with 3D folders, we say go through twice, but I know this one, this Brickwork folder, because of the way the detail works. And there it is, look at that. I'll try and tilt it so you can see the light, but the amazing thing is every single brick is different. Some stand out, some drop back, some are rough, some are smooth, but every single one is different. It's incredible, the amount of detail. Now, those of you who know Brickwork will remember that not only do we have one this size, but we have one which is half size and one even quarter size. So if you have some of Tim's wonderful village collection, the houses, you want to add some texture using that. But it's an extraordinary piece of work, it really is. So kudos to Tim for bringing us this wonderful folder in this size, which of course is A5. Now, let's take our switch out for a second, and let's start at the beginning. I'm going to look at Cobblestone again now, and the same when we're applying, when we're spritzing, everything the same rules apply. So many ways of getting the best out of these folders. Cobblestone, each and every separate zone is separate. There's no cut and paste here. It's extraordinary. It really is. But look at the variety you can get. So there's one. Right? How about this? Now this is using distress inks and probably a combination of inks and oxides. This is using acrylics. Okay, you can see the different tone. There's like a sand tone there. There's greys coming in. There's creams. It's about mixing it up. It's about playing around. It's about having some fun. There you go. Again, we go with greys. What I've done is I've taken a brush with some grey distress ink, and I've just gone around each stone to help it stand out. That's fantastic. It's extraordinary, stunning. Again. See, these are four completely different looks using the same folder. This one, oh goodness, and that is using a brayer, and sometimes a foam roller, and sometimes just applying ink pads directly to it to get this kind of effect where it's broken up. There's so much fun that can be had. So many techniques that you can bring in with a folder like that. Let's see a couple of ways that I've used it here. And then again, we're combining ink pads with acrylics. You know, you can even use greens to get in between the stones so it looks like, you know, like paving or cobblestone, which has algae in the center. This is a little notebook that we did, that we covered, because you can go bigger with these folders. You can go much, much bigger. You can almost, with some notebooks, you can wrap the folder around it because they are that big. So for notelets and things like that, wow, pretty cool. But it's a classic, is our Cobblestone, and you can see why. You can see why. It's incredible. Now, let's move on to numbered. As I said, when this one came out a few years ago, I had so much fun with this. I spent way too much time with this folder. And when I show you the results, you can see why. And I think I might do a video with this at some point coming up. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see. But there you go. How about those? Now this is all, well, no, I am going to do a video, so you'll have to watch that. But it's all acrylics. It's all acrylics, but there's so much. There are 4 different tones in each of these. That's what makes it sing and dance. That's the key. That's the secret. But isn't that incredible? You know what? If you're not familiar with techniques like this, you're probably looking at it and wondering how the heck do you get it looking that great? You will not believe how easy it is. So yeah, I'm going to do that video. Definitely. How about this? There you go, completely different. This is distress oxides. And what I did, I actually applied the oxides to the folder before embossing. And that oxide is just transferred onto this. Now this is quite subtle. It's kind of like a patina. I was really pleased with it. It's random. You never know how this is going to turn out. But the more you do it, the more you can control the random nature of these techniques. I love this because the colors underneath, look what happened. I used one of Tim's Spritzes, which I've just received and I'm playing around with them. So that is extraordinary because it gives it a lovely sheen. It's a pearlescent sheen. It's not a gloss sheen, it's pearlescent. But you know, with a lot of things that are sent, it's hard to photograph that because a photograph just gives you that. You can't see what's going on, but a film, on the other hand, gives you this. It shows you, you see it moving. And of course, when you give a gift to somebody, you know, it's in their hand, it's moving about. As you walk past it on a shelf or wherever it's put, the light catches it in different ways. So that's another one. This one is acrylics. No, actually, this one's all distress oxides. So I inked the background, I embossed it, and then I went over it with a brayer. Again, using the oxides. Really cool effect. This one, well, you can see for yourself both of these. We've got that lovely, lovely patina going on. And again, it's acrylics, and this one I've dragged some translucent sort of reddish brown paint to look like rust. This is metallic cardstock. It's metallic cardstock over which I put some watered down acrylic paint and then just rubbed it back with a wet scouring pad, and you get that wonderful effect. Do you know what? I'm afraid it's terrible really that I can't show you these techniques individually, but sometimes it's enough to talk about them because I have covered them in the past in previous videos to some extent. Rust. So I created the rust with acrylic paint on the base, and then I brayed over the top for the patina greens and blues, and then a little bit of splattering as well. And finally, this was actually this was a copper paint, so I painted on the card. So the thing about the paint, it doesn't have the same sheen as if it were copper, sort of metallic cardstock. It's a different kind of vibe going on, but I did the same kind of thing as I did with the silver, but a very different look. But I did say it's one of my favorites, and you can see why. And I've used it for notebook covers. That's what I've used with this. You can see there, wrapped around the spine. Keep calm and take notes. And then Poppy Hughes, big ideas and dreams. That's my daughter who's going into her final year in high school, so it's a good time to document those big ideas and dreams for the future. But there you go, a couple of nice notebooks. Now, brickwork. As I said in the introduction, there are so many samples of creative ways that people have used this folder. I'm going to show you a few examples. Now this one, obviously, it's quite subtle. It's quite subtle. It's using cream acrylic and blue, and it's a while since I've done it, but I think they are distress oxides underneath. So it's a combination of applying the oxides to the folder. It's a combination of using the brayer with the acrylic and just a little bit of ink blending over the top, but a great effect, really cool effect. Now this one, you can see is black card. That one started live on white card. This is black. But this is mainly brayer work. And again, 2 or 3, we start off with a deep grey, then we come in with a blue, then we come in with a very, very pale grey, almost white. Really cool. And then classic brickwork. This is all distress oxides actually. Distress oxides and a little bit of acrylic over the top. This one's quite subtle. You can get some really punchy colours when you start playing around with distress inks. But yeah, I like that. Let's show you some things that I made with that. This is a nice little frame thing. If graffiti changed anything, it would be illegal. How ironic. But what I did with this is I created this on my PC. Now you can do this with rubber stamps, but obviously you won't have that as a rubber stamp, but I created it on my PC. I printed it onto white card and then embossed it and started to apply the different distress inks to that. Now these I did as an homage to the Beatles, because my daughter's a really big Beatles fan, funnily enough, which is quite unusual for a 15-year-old. But we started off with this one, which is Matthew Street, obviously, where the Cavern Club was back in the day. And there's a couple of posters which I've printed off. I found them online. I printed them and turned them into little posters like this. So you can see that I've wrapped it around an old picture frame, which I have, or it could be a piece of wood, piece of MDF cut down to size. Doesn't really matter, but having a bigger folder allows you to do things like this. Then we did 2 others, and see what I mean about a triptych? We've got the 3 together like that. So we've got Abbey Road, of course, where the Beatles recorded in London so many times. Actually, let's get this back in the centre. All right, we've got Abbey Road, we've got Penny Lane. From the song, which was a double A side, which was, you know what the other side was, Steve? Shaking his head. Strawberry Fields Forever. There you go. He's very shy and retiring, is that, Steve? But yeah, Penny Lane. Wow, all these wonderful names. It could have been Strawberry Fields, actually. It could have been. But again, Beatles posters going on. My daughter keeps saying to me, because I took a photo of these, and she said, "When are you bringing them home, Dad? When are you bringing them home?" I said, "Well, I can't right now." I said, "When are you bringing them home?" "Well, they've got to go on a TV show as well." "When are you bringing them home?" So yeah, so these are going to be well loved. They're going to go up on a wall of fame with all her other pop memorabilia. And then finally, I mean, obviously, from the city of Liverpool, the Beatles, and this is something I did as a Liverpool supporter. And I was going to do an Everton one, actually, to get some balance. If you're not familiar, Everton and Liverpool are the two teams, two of the greatest teams in the UK, and the 2 teams from Liverpool that are literally a stone's throw from each other, although Everton have just moved. This is Kenny Dalglish. It's King Kenny, as we call him, long since retired. But yeah, around Liverpool, around the ground, there are a lot of murals on walls. So I wanted to do my own little mural. You can see it's all wrapped around there. And then finally, Diego J, number 20, YNWA. That's You'll Never Walk Alone. That's the song that is sung in Liverpool. Sadly, he passed away recently in a car crash. Very tragic, so there's a lot going on in his memory at the moment, and this is my little homage. But I'm sure you can agree, between these folders, there's a lot of creative possibilities going on. There really is. It's so much fun. It's so good to have them in this bigger format. They were popular in the small format. They were popular in the standard format, but now in the larger format. And you know, I know that you guys have taken these to your heart. You have so much fun with them. I know that I have, and I'm just scratching the surface. I'm sure there'll be a lot more to come. Anyway, there you go. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Everyone a winner. As I said, they're classic designs. Making them bigger like this really does give you more creative possibilities in terms of the projects that you can create. And of course, if you want to know more about these, check out timholtz.com. Go to the source, the man himself. He'll be able to tell you about them chapter and verse. I'm sure you'll be able to find more inspiration on Instagram, on Facebook, on all the usual places, but it's been a lot of fun. It's nice to revisit old friends, isn't it? I've been Pete. I'll see you again soon.